Hello, it's Matt. Oh dear. Alright. My quality of life has been growing yet decreasing. I've been more to myself, as in, I do not hear voices as much, which is a very good thing. Hear them much less, actually. But something about the weight on my mind and on my shoulders is growing. Now, where does this weight stem from? Nothing I could explain, really. Not particularly, anyways. The abstract, the unknown, even in a way. As my psychosis has not reacted how most people's psychosis reacts to the mind that they inhabit. It has been a peculiar journey, a peculiar ride to get to this point mentally, and to literally get to this point, because, well, there's the obvious. Everyone growing up kind of struggles in their own way. You've got people who eventually get really successful, and then they struggle way less, but they struggle to get there, so everyone has some kind of experience. There isn't really a single person on earth, if you account for that person's own personal priorities, that doesn't have struggles at some point. It just doesn't happen. Even people who grow up rich, who grew up in a mansion, they still have struggles. I am a resident of Canada, which is a very beautiful place. Which means that, well, I'm starting to look at the camera. I've noticed that sometimes it's very easy for me. Right now it's not. I'm a resident of Canada, which means that, well, I live a very safe life compared to the rest of, essentially the rest of our lands, the rest of our planet. So that's a very good thing. There's a beauty in the kindness that this country provides, I think, which is excessively great. Every single thing that happens to me that is troubling happens to me through my own mind, really. Other than, I've ran out of money, I can't buy a fucking restaurant. Well, maybe that's a good thing. So nothing really is a massive trouble to me at all. Beyond, again. But that's starting to be more debatable. I'm dealing with my problems so much better than I once was. That is for certain. That is for absolute certain. I have qualms about some things. My ability to focus kind of reverts. I focus very well sometimes on, footage or music. Music is not a problem, but everything else, it can be a big problem. And then it just kind of reverts. Kind of goes back to its habitual spot of not focusing. That's after about 5 to 15 seconds to even a minute to even a few minutes. It can vary, it can depend. But it does happen. Shit, my coat. Anyways. The truth is this, well, I've been enjoying myself, generally speaking, quite a bit. And as often by doing nothing but sitting in silence, kind of feels like I'm meditating, like I'm a monk or something. But, there is no lively activity to my life, which is the thing that bums me out. There is no I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna meet people. Because honestly, one of the big things is my weight. I am saddeningly ashamed of my weight. Even though it's getting to be less bad, it's still there, you know. I feel like I'll never meet a girlfriend at the weight I am at. I feel like I'll never make something significant out of myself in social situations because of it. Even though that's bullshit for the most part. I mean, the girlfriend thing, you lower your standards and you're good. And the other part, well, it just kind of doesn't apply as much as I think. But there are excuses for the most part. Kind of monetary is a thing too, because you go out, it's like clubs and so on. That's usually how you meet people of your age. So monetary is a problem as well, because I reside on very low income, so that's not a good thing. I'm trying to get myself a job, but I'm not really at the same time. I'm planning, not on getting myself a job, but I'm like planning ahead in the sense of growing my talents. Because as a writer, I'm going quite good, but not great, but quite good. So in the future, I'll probably be great. And then it gets to actually publishing, you know, putting things out there. Articles would be a very cool thing. Personal blogging is very great as well. But what I don't like about the system we inhabit in terms of that is that there's a dire lack of creativity in writing first. So basically, like, you know, I gotta catch this article, I gotta catch this title before the other person does, and then you just kind of fill in the blanks of the expected ideas. I don't want to be stuck doing that, but, you know, finding a job that's passion filled is much harder than finding a job that's passionless. That's for sure. So then you kind of get to the point where you're kind of, you know, you're sitting in your chair and you think I'm doing nothing with myself. I've got a whole life ahead of me and still I'm doing nothing with myself. And that can get very depressing indeed. That can get massively depressing. So I record these very great YouTube videos because I love the videos I've been recording lately. And I vent about it. But the truth is, well, there needs to be a purpose to passion, at least I think so. You know, if Rivers Cuomo from Weezer, if Weezer the band, I would say Rivers Cuomo first because he's a songwriter, but if they hadn't sat down and actually jammed and made those first two albums, you know, that's the Blue Album and Pinkerton. If they hadn't made those albums back in the day, my life wouldn't have been better during high school. That means there was a purpose to the passion. You know, putting yourself out there has a point. It's always had a point. It doesn't lead to reward at first. Not for most people. And that can suck, you know? That can really suck. But sometimes it does. And that's the beautiful part of it. It's sometimes true creativity. And I mean, every creative act is true to itself in a way. But creativity that expresses, that is bold, that is, you know, passionate, that is confident, you know, that sometimes pulls through and actually creates something, you know. The thing is I find the soul in art to be the most beautiful thing. That's essentially what I'm getting out there, I think. And it's very enchanting to know what it is that you have pursued has bred reward, you know, for you and for others. That's a very enthralling, beautiful, amazing thing that a lot of artists never experience, and I've kind of got to fear that myself, you know, never experiencing that. It sucks. It sucks. The idea sucks. It's just petrifyingly awful, you know. And I'm scared of that sometimes. Sometimes I'd kind of get over it, and that's when I am more confident, because these are kind of the main thoughts I have, which is kind of sad. Not the confidence part, but the lack of security over never actually creating your ideal self. Even though to me, in many ways, it kind of is there. Who I am right now in many ways is kind of my ideal self, But yeah. Shit. The truth is, well, I guess we're all beautiful in our own ways. I guess we're all people. And what that essentially means is that not all of us have agreeable personalities. Not all of us are people you'd want to get to know more or, relate to. And in a way you can say, hey, well, that means that person isn't beautiful. Well, who are you to judge, Who am I to judge? That's the whole point. Because, well, I think I'm someone who a lot of people might get turned off by if they don't get to know more, because I'm too honest, And that's a very good thing when it applies to the right metric, when it applies to the right mindset or ideas, meaning when it is self-honesty, like when you reveal yourself in a way which is relatable, So, honestly, I'm stupefied and amazed at the fact that there's been so much beauty out there. And I feel like a lot of people just kind of take that for granted. Except if it's their passion, then they kind of wholly recognize it, which is beautiful. That's why I want to meet someone who's passionate about music. That's a very cool thing. I'd like to get to know that person more in most situations, in most days. And there's a point in it. There's a point in not just, working a 9 to 5, which is important, but working a 9 to 5 and then heading back home and just, sipping on, I don't know, alcohol or something, going out at weekends and, living life and having fun and everything. And that's great. But at the end of the day, like, what have you really done beyond just live to the point that it probably starts to feel automated after a while, And that's like, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing per se, but it can be a boring thing. It can be not very exciting, although you create your own experiences, but something about it. Something about not expressing yourself. Something about not finding a revelation within the unique. Something within not, knowing the truth. When the truth is to be you. I mean, I'm trying to explain it, sorry, but I kind of am pretty well. See, the truth is I'm happy. I am a happy guy, because at the end of the day, even if I die lonely, even if I die without someone by my side, other than family members maybe, I'll still be able to say that I express myself. And that's kind of depressing, the former idea, but the later idea is very beautiful and gorgeous and so on. I'll still be able to express myself, And there's nothing more beautiful, and in its ideal state, revelatory and widespread as that. I think so. I think I'm gonna go. I have a lot to say though. That's just fascinating about it. I don't really, run out of ideas. Not like I've noticed that you can have the same idea but presented in two different ways, and you've got two different ideas. Because essentially, in its core conceptuality, this video is about, well, celebrating expression while being insecure of what it could potentially not provide. But when you dig deeper into the way it's expressed, then you've got a whole new thing. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Thank you, lovelies. See ya.